nice local guy.
Nice. That was like a lot of nices.
Yeah. Well,
Good
you know
guy.
who is a nice local person?
Oh, who, Jay?
Our friend Paula Quinene, who has still got a connection to the island.
Nice.
Here we are on Guam on Tuesday. The boys are in the room. It's Tuesday here on Guam, but we have two lovely local ladies who are joining us from Las Vegas and North Carolina, respectively. So
but they're also joining us from yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the future, guys. Welcome. This is what the future looks like.
Yeah. By the way, it's hot.
Yeah.
Not as hot as for you guys, but Paula Quinene, of course, we were saying at the top of the show, she is a content creator of the highest order. She is a 5-time published author. She is a maven of videos. She has, well known in the YouTube circuit for her mastery of the video art when it comes to making cooking videos. And now she has branched off to TikTok, finding maybe we can get her to do one of those dance trends. I don't know. And by the way, she's also a Simon Sanchez High School, the class of 1992 graduate, which means she's like one of the coolest people on planet Earth.
Yep, go Sharks.
Yep, go Sharks. So Paula, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
So good to see you.
Thank you, Jason. Good morning, everybody. It's almost nighttime here, but
Good morning.
Yeah, and Paula, okay, I cannot say this enough. It's going to be for you, my dear beloved classmate, for those 30 years next year that we actually walked out of the GGO campus as graduates. That is crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, now we're the parents or we're the older ones.
Exactly. Well, and
Y'all are old.
Yeah. Okay.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I'm old as dirt here, and I'm the youngest one in the room. So, okay, and so, but Paula, also congratulations. Speaking of being a parent, congratulations to your family because your son just graduated from high school. Well done.
Yes, thank you. Thank goodness. No more worrying about him getting up and going to school. You know. Holy camoli.
Well, a lot of people first became familiar with you because we did a feature on you several years ago when you had your Guam Mama Cooks. That's how you're known on social media and YouTube. But you published the first 2 cooking books that you had. So what have you been doing in the time since? I see you've got those amazing, lovely cups over your right shoulder, as you were telling us during the break. That we're actually looking at some of your props for your videos.
Yes. So since A Taste of Guam and Remember Guam, I've done like a macaron cookie book, but more importantly, I've done my Guam romance novels. And I've started to learn how to do food photography just for fun, to enhance my Guam food videos.
Mm-hmm. So how?
Yep. So I
was going to say, how has it been like because the last year has been like so crazy. And again, you said, I'm assuming that, your son did like a lot of distance learning, online learning and everything. So the family was all together in North Carolina and everything like that. But as a content creator and as someone who has found, her niche and her calling and being able to express and tell stories and, share those things that really connect us all as human beings and everything like that. What has that meant for you creatively over the last 18 months or so?
It's been a blessing. I've really enjoyed being home. My daughter's in travel softball, so we've been in travel softball since 2015. And in the span of those 5 years before COVID, we were always on the go. So I might have had maybe 5 food videos in 2015, 3 in 2016, none in 2017 or 18. So, with being home for COVID, I was able to get back to doing more videos. And the kids are older now; they can drive themselves. So it's been great. Just the 2 months that we were totally locked down, everybody was home. We were able to sit down and have meals together. So it's been really nice.
And I remember all of us, as fellow members of our class and everything. Like, of course, we all passed it around on email, on WhatsApp, on social media. We're like, "Hey, Paula's got a cookbook. Let's go check this out." And it is really amazing stuff. And we as Pacific Islanders, we've got this natural attraction to people like on the mainland because they were like, "Oh, you grew up on an island. You've got this unique way of, your cooking and your flavors and the way you guys do barbecue and everything like that." So how has your book been received by people out there? And, what are some of the more common questions you get?
It's been well received, mostly in part because when I first published it, there wasn't a lot of online chamorro recipes. There were a few cookbooks, but I think my book was the first to be available as a print on demand on Amazon, back when Amazon took like a week to get you a book. So this was a time where they sold mostly books, and it just took a long time. And before the internet became so mainstream, it was nice to have the book. Now there's more, recipes online and more cookbooks. But when I was in college and I had to cook for myself, I used an old Guam cookbook, and the recipes weren't turning out. And I wasn't a terrible cook. I wasn't a chef. It should have turned out. And I think just being the person to test the recipe and print it out and publish it helped in that the recipes were accurate and people could replicate it. Right. So they're grateful that, when they work on the recipe, it turns out the way it's supposed to taste. And that's based on when I was growing, when I was on Guam, and the foods we had from, say, the 70s to the 90s,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Paula, it's crazy because I could never get a recipe out of, my aunties or my grandmas. I mean, they would be like, come and watch, but they never wrote anything down.
Yeah.
Right? But I wanted to ask, because I was looking at just on your Instagram, and I gotta disagree, because I'm pretty sure even if I followed this recipe for Chamorro Letiza cupcakes, that my Chamorro, they probably wouldn't come out like that. But right,
that's where the videos help, right?
Right.
But that one is like a new.
It's like a twist, right?
I don't call it a Chamorro recipe because we don't have Chamorro Letiza cupcakes, but it's a Letiza inspired cupcake. Because sometimes I want to learn or do something new. Right. I value the traditional foods that we grew up with, because I think it's important that we have a way to record that and pass it on, because it's a part of our history, keeping in mind that recipes can change, as time goes by. But every now and then I have extra time to put a little twist to an existing recipe. So,
right.
And since as long as you say cupcake, now you're speaking Sabrina's love language and everything, because she's quite the cupcake queen herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try that Letiza cupcake.
I know it looks fancy.
Delicious.
And let's kind of go into the Chamorro baking, Paula. With the traditional recipes, is there kind of a theme you see with a lot of like Chamorro baking dessert recipes?
I think because of social media, there's trends to maybe update the recipe or make it a little fancy, right, or a little different. But otherwise, for those who are unsure, or maybe a lot of statessiders that are of Chamorro descent, they're wanting to learn. So maybe they weren't surrounded by our foods. And because our culture is now a little more accessible through the online platforms, now they're curious and they want to learn more. So that's the trend that I see, is just wanting to connect to our culture through food and other avenues.
And I love how you said that, because, like whether it was a deliberate, design decision on yours or not, you have become this amazing, wonderful ambassador for, our culture and what we believe in and the things that we want to share. So how has that been, interacting with other people, and they say, okay, like, I've tried some of your recipes. They're amazing. I follow you on social media. Like I see the passion with which you create content. I'd like to learn more about, who the Chamorro people are.
Mm-hmm. If they're looking for links, I can refer them to some of the links, but they generally have questions about where can I buy this or that. People wanting to learn the language, so I refer them to Michael Lohan Bavakwa's Chamorro Studies pages. Mm-hmm. He ran a online Chamorro lessons.
Paula, let me ask you, how do you kind of balance like the need to document the traditional recipes and also the desire to kind of flip them on their head and present them in a modern way?
So when I first started putting my videos online and sharing my recipes, I did so in a way that I remembered how they were when I was growing up. For instance, sweet tamales mandioca, when I was young, it was always wrapped in foil, right? They were they were huge, and they would cut them in half.
Of course.
And that's what they had at the fiestas, right? And so I'm putting all these recipes online on video, and people are telling me that this is not how we did this, when I was growing up, right? Or this is wrong, or that's not chamorro. And I was freaked out because I'm like, wait a second, I grew up on Guam. That's what I remember. So I have since started to research and take notes on the different foods that were mentioned, say in writings by Spanish naturalists or American naturalists that were in Guam. And, there are small booklets published from the 1700s or the 1800s. And if I see a word and they're describing the food, I try to keep notes on them. So when I see it again, then I can perhaps pick up on a theme. So right now what I want to do is research those dishes as much as I can and replicate them to the best of my abilities and how much I've learned about the foods over the years. Because I think that's important. I wish that we had those documentations, but there's very little of that. So I collect those notes and I publish them on my website, or I'm writing a food column and I share that in that space. So, but yeah, that's what I my goal is now, is to share with people what our foods used to be and preface that with in this specific time, right? Because it's different. And what we're eating on Guam now is different from 30 or 40 years ago for several reasons, including the fact that there's, different cultures on Guam now that are growing, that weren't as big perhaps, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, Paula, we do have a couple of the videos that we want to play while we're talking to you of two of your most popular videos there of the traditional chamorro barbecue, which I know everybody in the States is going to love, especially, I guess, since you're in the Carolinas where they're known for, the sweeter, the quintessential Carolina honeys. And then we've also got your chamorro potato salad. Why do you think it's these particular videos have done so well, and what kind of feedback do you get from these?
So with the ribs, I think at any chamorro barbecue, that is the iconic dish, right? Of course, it's always red rice, but it's the barbecue that the smell permeates the air, and more so ribs than chicken. And then the potato salad, because the chamorro potato salad just tastes different from the potato salads in the States. And in the States, there's Amish potato salad, Southern potato salad, American potato salad, but they don't taste as good as the chamorro potato salad. And maybe I'm biased, but there was a comment on on the TikTok video, like, you don't even need a cutting board to cut the potatoes. So I think it's kind of cool.
When you get invited to parties, from people like around you in the Carolinas, what are things that people that have tried your dishes before, what are the most common items? And they say, please, Paula, can you bring X and Y, because we loved it so much and everything. Like, can you please make that again?
We don't go to a lot of parties, but buti buti is pretty popular. The fried pumpkin turnovers. The softball families that know us like the ribs and the red rice and the latiza.
Excellent. Okay, well, tell you what, I do want to pivot in this interview, and because you did pivot.
Before we pivot, can I just because I was
please.
going to say, Paula, is there any recipe that because I want to just tell us, my Uncle Greg is, because I really think that the traditional chamorro recipes, the one that like Grandma made or the one that you're used to, just kind of like the baseline, what you expect when you go to Fiesta, like the greats like kadun pika, right? Dear kaddu of coconut milk, those kind of things, like they're great recipes that don't need any tinkering. And so sometimes I see when people try to modernize or veganize or otherwise Americanize some of our traditional recipes, sometimes it just doesn't work for me. Like my Uncle Greg, putting rosemary and oregano in the stafao. No.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Has there been a recipe that you tried to kind of like twist that you're just like, oh no, this doesn't work?
No. to each his own, right? But for me, I don't like changing it because I've taken it upon myself to make it my job to at least share and preserve what I remember as being Chamorro food, right? What we have at our fiesta tables, what we eat in the house. So I don't. If you're going to, if you need to be healthy, right? Just eat Chamorro food less often and don't eat so much, right? If you're on Guam, you have parties every weekend. You have to come up with another solution. But I make red rice with white rice and with lots of fat, and champolado with rice.
You don't make cauliflower champolado?
No. And here's why. Here's one of the wonderful things about our food. When you go to a party and you put a spoonful of red rice or kelaguen or potato salad, you are expecting a specific taste and mouthfeel because it's basically the same, right? Maybe somebody's potato salad might have some diced carrots, but that's not very often, when you bite into empanada, when you say empanada, Chamorros think one thing, at least in our generation. I hear way back when they used to put different things, but
right.
In our generation, it's the rice and chicken and some doni, with the toti, right? That's the flavor. So when you pick up an empanada, you expect that. And my recipes reflect that because that was the goal, So yeah, I don't like tweaking it. And, for those that do, that's cool too. But
Yep. Jay?
Yeah, well,
do you have a difficult time finding the ingredients to make your Chamorro dishes?
No, not anymore. Not anymore. When I was in college, 20 odd years ago, yeah. I mean, I had to make red rice a billion times, wondering what I was doing wrong, but it was the seeds that were so old,
It's hard to find a choti in Oregon, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Then probably now, you can order it on Amazon, but yeah, way back when it was like, oh my gosh.
Paula, so you do the cooking, and I'm pretty sure the kitchen gets pretty steamy when you do that. But something else that's steamy,
nice segue,
is your career as a erotic romance novelist.
I don't know about a career, but
but there's also an interesting twist to this because you've written these erotic romance tales, set in World War II Guam. So how did you come up with that whole concept?
Being in the States for a while, when you talk to people about Guam, and anytime I can find anybody willing to listen to me, it's always say, hi, I'm Paula, I'm from Guam, Anyways, when we talk about World War II, it's always, Hawaii, Pearl Harbor, which was horrible. But what most people don't know was that after the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, they bombed Guam and stayed there, And that was one of the reasons for writing Concord. I wanted to put our history and our culture and our food into one book. And I thought a novel would be great, something more interesting than a textbook. And I used to read romance novels a little bit, so I thought it would be a good avenue to bring out those various aspects.
And you have been very, very gracious to actually send us an excerpt because, we on
so
this show, when we have published authors, we always like to give the authors themselves, the honor of being able to read their own work. But basically, because Chris is someone who can never let anybody have the limelight except himself.
Oh, come on. Wow.
And Chris
wow,
has always,
Jay. That was, dude.
And Chris has always wanted to read erotic literature.
He'd do it better than me anyways. Reading it.
Well, you have actually sent us a couple pages. So,
yeah, so let's go ahead and we're just going to read
I'm going to read page 1. You can read page 2.
Oh, I don't want page 2. I don't know, bro. I read page 2. Nope.
Yeah,
nope
okay,
nope.
we might have to do
Okay, here we go. So Paula, this is from the book.
Give me something to read.
Is this from the book Concord?
No, Bree, you have it too. You got to bring it up on your computer.
Yeah, Bree, you can read page 2.
Bree, you can read page 3.
Yeah, you can read page 2.
I don't have a page 3. I only have a page. Oh, page 3 is okay. Oh gosh.
Okay, you guys ready? You guys ready?
Okay, well, and Paula, can you set up the? Give us some context. Set up the scene of which this passage takes place.
Okay, so World War II, I had to use fairly tame words, but they've already interacted and met, and they met because he was trying to rescue this girl and injured, and I believe they've already done the deed. And so this is just an instance where they're getting ready to get married, and he's bringing over some offerings to the family and is looking for her, and that's when the scene takes place.
A little warning to our audience.
And he found her, all right.
Yeah, okay. And if you're driving this wonderful Tuesday morning, you might want to pull over on the side of the road for the next 2 or 3
Right,
minutes.
yeah. This, full disclosure, this next scene may depict sex before marriage.
Wait, so what part are you reading? What part am I reading?
Johan couldn't find Jesse in the house, and there wasn't a family member in sight. He had to drop off a load of supplies for the wedding, but was 2 hours early. Johan remembered that she said she might go for a swim down in the cove. He found the start of the trail and made his way. I need to cut this for her. The overgrown trees forced him to slow down. Just as he was about to make his next step, a sparkle from above caught his eye. He held his left foot in midair and looked up. What the hell? Cans? Johan backed off. He followed the rope with his eyes and realized it was a warning signal. A grin crossed his lips and spread to his eyes. He sidestepped around the cans and tiptoed down the trail.
There was movement in the water. He could see her arms comb through the ocean and was about to walk into the open when she stood up. The sight of her bare body aroused him. She sauntered toward the shore, wiped off with a towel, then rubbed something all over her arms, increasing his excitement. Jessie dipped her fingers again in the container and rubbed her breasts and abdomen. Eee. Johan ran his hand over his growing desire. She braced her leg up on the nearby rock to rub her thigh and calf. He could see her mound from where she stood and waited for her to finish the other leg. Now Bree's got the good part.
I can't.
I know.
Don't put that on. Jesse turned around stunned. Johan, you scared me. I didn't mean to. He wrapped his arms around her waist and kissed her. I was watching you, he said between kisses. I didn't hear the cans. I avoided them. He bit the right side of her neck, then the left. Sneaky. He eased back just enough for Jesse to pull his shirt off, then pulled her back against him. You're beautiful. Johan's breathing was strained. Jesse helped him remove his pants and briefs.
Okay, that's
The
good.
feel
We're
of
good.
her
We're all
stiff
right,
nipples
Breen. It's okay.
against bare skin.
We're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll give you a please go out and buy Paula's books on Amazon. But basically, the summary of what follows next can be stated as
Sometimes sex is slow and loving. Okay, sorry.
yeah. So basically, the remainder of the scene can be summed like this: bow chicka bow wow.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden, Jason's got to go to the bathroom. I don't know what's up with that, but
Okay, no, it's very, very good, and it's
Good. It's good.
Yeah, Paula, you weave an incredible tale, and I mean, as I've said, you have mastered the art of storytelling, of expression, with the written word, with videos. Obviously, you're very proud of your heritage and your history, and you wear that very, very proudly, and we're very honored to have you on our show, and thank you for sharing some of your art with us.
yeah, thank you, Paula.
You're welcome. Thank you guys.
Paula.
Chris,
Okay,
Sabrina,
and real
Jason.
quick, let people know, because now there's like a whole bunch of people who are like holding their credit cards, like shivering right now. It's like, hey, tell me what happens to Jessie and her bare naked Johan. Don't just leave me like that. Johan's butt naked. What happens next, right? So let people know where they can find you on social media and on your sites.
All right. So paulaq.com, you'll find all the information about each book and all the recipes. You can print it out. The full YouTube videos are on YouTube under Guam Mama Cook. But everything you need to know is at paulaq.com. All the books are available in print and downloadable Kindle ebooks on Amazon.com.
And with all due respect to Sabrina, who said it's 108 in Vegas, man, it is hot in here. I got the vapors already. Woo!
All right, don't come knocking if you see the bathroom rocking. Okay. Hey, it's 7:31. Thanks. We're going to take a quick break and come back with more of the link.
Paula, thank you.
We're going to the CNMI next with Kevin Bautista right here on The Link, which is brought to you by Pacific Points, IT&E, Calvo Enterprises, and Jack in the Box.
My first question is, how the heck is Kev supposed to follow that up?
I know. Kev's probably like, what? Am I in the right show? Is this the Red Shoe Diaries? We're back with more next. Good morning.
Our World War II survivors have endured more sacrifice, suffering,